Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone in the world you all are. It's your Blue Archive Gacha Wheel, beginner artist self-proclaimed, and your boy, Tosanyu. Welcome to the stream. For today I will be doing some art, and it's like Hololive fan art, like more or less, you could like say, since the character I will be drawing is Izuki Michiru, which is like the news addition to like Hololive Staff. It's like the new announcer or so. And she is called by the name Izuki Michiru. I was like looking at some clips, that's like how, and Twitter, I think, like X, it's like now called nowadays. It's like how I kind of got the news, and yeah, I was like, fantastic, let's draw her, I would like say, so that I don't forget about it. And she's kind of cute, I must say. Okay, let's go in, I would say, and also adjust the mic a little bit. So usually when I do a schedule, I do my best to keep it like how I wrote it down, but something came in between. You know, I kind of had to like contact people if they have time or not, you know, and that they need to like answer kind of like as soonish as possible, you know. And when I had like my schedule done, they were like, oh, we have time, you know, you can we can hang out or something like that, right? And yeah, I was like, while I think like you know, like streaming is fun and everything, sometimes I do have to touch grass, you know. So this is like that, where I like go in and kind of like put more worth into this kind of thing than like YouTube, you know. But the thing is, like, sometimes like those real life events, they don't come like again, say, like opportunities. So I have to take it, you know. Don't know what happens. Like, I'm like aware of my voice and everything, but sometimes I do swallow the words down, like it like kind of like leave things out, you know. It's just kind of like, I don't know like how you say it, but sometimes it just disappears, you know. But yeah, I have to put my priorities on like some things, and it is like that. Hello Deadfish, welcome to the art stream. Nice to see you again here, and good evening. It's drawing here like Hololive fan art from the newest addition to like Hololive, like as a stuff, which is like Izuki Michiru. Has quite a cute laugh, and looking at her hobbies, it could be like excellent her voice changer if or like LeBron James and like Hot Pot is getting at it and such. But yeah. But I do like it when people can like laugh a lot, you know, that they have like some positive kind of aura, you know, that they're like a sunshine, you know, something like that. I think like a lot of people are like drawn to like those who have like good vibes overall, right? And I mean, that as an announcer, you know, but I think like Japanese meta can like work that way, you know, since like with like weather announcer, those weather people, you know, like on the news. Sometimes you're like in the days we didn't really, not everyone used internet, you know, they were just like turning on the TV when they checked like for the weather and like some of the news, you know. and sometimes like the announcer there is like very charismatic, right? It's like hot, and then they're like kind of like treated as an idol, at least like in Japan, you know. But like kind of guess, you know, like Gintama also like covers this kind of like culture there more or less, you know, like if Gintoki has like his favorite web announcer with Ketsuna Ana, you know. Yeah. And I never thought like much of it until like I kind of like knew what like the meaning of Ketsuna Ana means. But yeah. Dear sir, what do you watch the news for? It was like back in the days, you know, when it was like not much of a thing with internet. Let's say I had like not, if you remember, sometimes I talk about how I had like to scratch by on like accessing anime, you know, and Potato PC, the parents were like, okay, no internet, you know, this distracts you from school, focus on that first, and if you do that well, you can, you know. But I never really gave my best, since it was never like my main motivation also regarding that. Like some entertainment, some like you know, some like YouTube, whatever, could be like great, but it was like never something I craved for, you know. And there are like many other things to like spend time, but I thought it was like cool to have. And when you watch like TV for the news, then it's like about some things that happen like in your local environment, maybe like nationally or like internationally, you know, like just to be a little bit educated, you know. It's like some common sense, no, not common sense, but it's just like some basic knowledge about the world, you know. Not that you live under a rock and you don't know like the World War II is going, World War III is going on or whatever, you know. It's like kind of like normal, I'd say. Maybe like not for the young unks, you know, like nowadays, but it was like a thing. Nowadays I don't really watch that much news, but if, for example, like Asmongold is like covering like a video topic, you know, then I'd be like, okay, if he's covering it, you know, like most critical, or like any other like content creator that is like influential enough, then alright, then it is like somewhat serious, you know. But politics also is rarely getting covered by them, you know. Usually it's like not a good idea to like cover politics as a content creator. That's like why you watch like news, you know, for example. Like there's like things going on in Russia, you know, and like Ukraine, for example. And it's like not always a good idea to talk about it, like and I won't talk much about it, or like not at all, but you know, it's like a shitty situation. And then we're getting updated here and there. I think like it's fair. Like at least like pay a little bit attention to like the world around you, you know. Like not only to humans or like streamers, you know, like have something parasocial like opening up, but in general, like, you know, connecting. The most controversial thing going around is a son and his dog. Yeah, I heard about it. I saw also the memes. The memes are funny. I like watch a long video about it, like from Mugen. Usually like I started like watching him like when it comes like to 2024 or so, like with some VTuber kind of stuff, you know. And when he's like covering it, then yeah, it's like worth a watch, and he kind of like is giving like information on like this kind of thing, situation, and is also like showcasing it in an entertaining way, more or less, you know, like not like blockbuster or like true crime or so, right? But after like some VTuber stuff came like more other like kind of stuff like Genshin, for example, you know, and like recently like with Hassan. But yeah, there are memes of it. I better go see. Yeah. I mean, when you're a content creator out there, right? Or like some kind of figure with like a name and like some kind of like fame, like something to lose, then yeah, you can be respected, but you can also be like memed on, you know. And this fame can like turn to infamy at some point, and if you like do like one wrong step, you know, like getting cancelled, something like that, and then you have to prepare your apology video. If it comes to that, something like this. Like how things like come around. In school we had to discuss how will the world look in 2050. Any ideas? Yeah, if you think about the future, you know. Where do you think you are in the future? Like in 10 years? What do you think will the world has like, what will the world have like around that time? Like if you look back at the 10 years like ago, you know, I think like we had it like pretty good. I'd say like there was like no COVID. There was like nothing like too much with brain rot. We had no skippity toilet. And this kind of brain rot language, you know, and contents. And let's say anime was something that is like gate-kept, you know, like only the select people. Like access that. While we do like, for example, like a Nintendo Switch, like things like those indie games nowadays, like back in the days there was like not much of not many problems as like nowadays, right? Sometimes you can like think about, oh, we will have like a lot of new things like flying cars, you know, you have like robots, you know, who are like serving us like a lot of about positive things and like inventions, but think about like in what way, for example, like the culture will change, you know, like with COVID, for example, it did like a pretty big change, you know, and then like did like something, you know, it created like a VTuber boom, like that, for example, right? And it made people like more people like watch anime, so that's like nothing like gatekept anymore. Then we have like things like tourists and everything, right? And while it's like cool to think about like the nice things, inventions, and like the kind of advancement in technology, there's also like a lot of problems coming with that as well, you know, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. Like, a lot of people liked how the OG Yu-Gi-Oh was, you know? But when more and more things get added to the meta, right? Like we had like fusion cards, we had like ritual cards, and then like tribute summon, right? And then now we have like things like Xyz, we have like things like Synchro, Pendulum, Link, and then more and more stuff, right? And then the character effects, like the card effects, they become like so complex, and that you can kind of like stun lock an opponent for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it's kind of like you know, that like duels go like very, very slowly. They progress very slowly. And yeah, you know, I for once see like, okay, maybe we cannot look at things like with optimism, like, you know, when you like say, wow, damn, it's optimistic, you know. Of course you can like really go like the you know, like the commoners, the NPC kind of behavior, you know, the NPC kind of answer, oh, I think like we have like flying cars, we have like you know, holograms and everything. But when people like actually like think about it, you know, and like discuss like, you know, like looking at the like the past, and then like, you know, then what did they expect, you know, what do we have now? It can be like disappointment, it can be problems, you know. And if you like really like encounter like someone who is like thinking about more deeply than going like for something NPC answer related, then, you know, like it's like kind of like they do like think about things, they do be real, and you know. And yeah, those people can be interesting to have around. And sometimes I would like to talk to people who are kind of like-minded, but yeah, if they go like this kind of NPC behavior, you know, like they go like the easy kind of answer, you know, or like you know, imagining like technology, and imagining like you know, flying cars and such, holograms, then they're okay, fine, you know. Then I'm just gonna like be part of it, you know, like don't stand out too much. But if I feel like, hey, maybe I can like have like a more interesting conversation, then yeah, let's talk like about like more about more in depth, you know. It's like about, you know, not necessarily that I don't really want an answer, you know, to like the question, but sometimes something more interesting. And I do think, for example, like Asmongold can be like interesting in that regards, when he's like covering interesting topics and then like gives his thoughts about it, you know. Like reaction videos can be like kind of sometimes, you know, they recycle something, but they do give like interesting commentary, and then yeah, maybe you get challenged, you know. Sometimes you don't agree, but no, it's about like understanding each other. Even if like I, for example, have like let's say like if we talk about the future, you know, what we can imagine 2050, then they imagine something optimistic, and then I say like, okay, we will probably have problems in the future, you know, and then if we can have a back and forth, then I think that would be like cool, you know, like in a conversation. Even if we will disagree with each other, if we can like understand each other's standpoint, you know, then yeah, oh, we got like the Switch too, we got like smartphone, we got internet now, and now the technology we have nowadays, they're like not that big and chunky, now they're like small and like space savvy, you know, then yeah. And if you think like about space exploration or like satellites, whatever, there can also like be more like going on, for example. But we also have like to be aware the world will end at some point. It has like expiration date, and we don't have to worry about it, but what about like those people after us, you know? Maybe in 2050 the world is gone already. Who knows, maybe alien invasion is gonna kick in and then, you know, give us all your myths and like lollies, and then we leave you in peace or something like that, whatever, you know. Like if you think about it, for example, like, you know, in some animes, they are like aliens, you know, but they look like anime waifus or whatever, right? And then they're gonna take over humanity like that while blending in. Maybe some aliens are like around us already, right? That's what you call a politician. You know. Oh yes, I too am a human, fellow humongous. I do understand about this thing called anime and hot waifus. May we have like exchange information in this topic? Yeah. I could like talk like a politician, you know. But I can like do it not that well like English, I'd say. Like my vocab is like lacking. I'd say. But even like if people like bring out like some, let's say like you know, if they speak like a certain way, like I'm kind of a middle-aged guy, I do know like the words and everything, but I can't like, you know, freestyle like in a way to talk like that. I need a script. But yeah. I talk like normally, I suppose, but the master of like the English language is like also not fully there. But I can speak it, you know, I'm fluent. So it's just like something at the very least. But yeah, politicians, they do earn a lot of money, I'd say. They will not change a lot about the world, but they earn money, you know. And if I can like also be a politician, you know, I promise like people like something, do like maybe 10% of it, and then, you know, do the bare minimum. And then like, you know, dance around the topic, like not really coming to the point. Stringing my a lot of complicated words into each other, you know, just so that sounds like more intelligent, and then, you know, but actually I didn't contribute anything to like topic, something like that, right? Can you call an alien like that? Someone who talks a lot but doesn't really like do anything? Like what is an alien actually at all, right? Like aliens, it's like kind of a belief that like they're like beings like outside of our world, outside of planet Earth, you know, like if we look like in the night sky, there are like a lot of different stars out there. We can see the moon. At daylight we see the sun, right? those are like planets, you know, and there could be like life similar to like Earth, planet Earth, you know, like out there. And when people like look at, I don't know, what was it, Venus? Or was it Saturn? I don't really know, but when they look like at one of those planets, they kind of like figured, hey, actually humans could live here? Or it had like signs that they were like, okay, that it's like similar to like the human environment, like human planet Earth, you know? And maybe you can like populate it if we kind of like do something there. It's like planet F has an expiration date, you know? And if it could be possible to like relocate people to other planet, you know, then the expiration date is gonna be extended, you know, it's not gonna be like shorter and shorter. Like there are only limited resources on this world. At some point humans will be extinct. if like nothing's been done, but I leave that also like the future generation, like right now we don't have to worry about it, but yeah. And I think like the current job is just like enjoy life, you know. And on my part, leave my mark on the world in some way, you know, like Akira Toriyama with Dragon Ball, you know. People will not forget about him in the Spanish kind of community, you know. Even like his death day is even like a holiday, you know. So yeah. And if I can like kind of leave a mark on my foot, even like virtually, you know, as a Kinji tuber. And yeah. As long as I will not be forgotten, you know, as long as you don't forget someone, they will not really die, you know. They will live on in your memories. They're gonna live rent-free in your head. Will oxygen cost money? I mean, like water costs money, right? We need water to like survive. If like breathable air is like, you know, yeah, I think it's ridiculous, you know, more or less. Maybe they will do that, you know, events like, okay, you have to work, Tosan, else you will not get oxygen for free. Okay, I'm gonna work, you know, and then they force me out of there, you know. And sometimes I would like, you know, I would like to have my free time, I would like to slack off. I take like people, for example, take out of like vacation days, and then they're gonna be like pretend to be ill, so they can like stay long at home, play like Silksong, for example. Like, you know, when the release date came out, when teacher was like missing in school, and be like, I think he took the day off for playing Silksong, but I can't prove it, you know. So, and if there's like this kind of thing with like oxygen to like control like the society, I guess there will be a revolution, I suppose. It can be interesting to write a story about that, but I guess it's more interesting, you know, like to have like something like a desert place, you know, and then there's like lack of water, and then the water's like super expensive, you know, not affordable. You can like make some stories like if like air being like, you know, costing money. Oh no, if I can't like afford no, if I'm gonna kick out from this job, then I don't have enough money for oxygen. My family will die. What I'm gonna do? And yeah, I'd say it's not really relatable, you know. It's like really absurd. You can like maybe like make a comedy out of it, I suppose. And I don't think many people have like the experience on like running out of air really. Not many people, like people who were like about to drown or so. Or like were in fire, you know, like trapped in like a house, a fire, and then the smoke takes like the oxygen away. It's like feels horrible and you can die, actually. Instantly. And not instantly, but you die like pretty fast, but also like in a very kind of cruelish way, you know? Where you do suffer. And if it comes like to the part about suffering, you know, we have human rights. So I think like money wise, we can be like safe, you know, when like oxygen will probably not cost money. Unless it's like US, you know, maybe you're screwed. They have like this kind of interesting system, you know, like it's not a welfare system, like everyone is like free, you know, they don't like really mingle with like the business of other people, you know. If they F up in life, then they F'd up and then they eat the consequences. But in Germany, for example, we have like a welfare system. Like a safety net, in a sense. If we mess up, they got our back, you know. They make sure that we don't really die, that we don't get treated in an inhuman way. We like have human rights after all, right? We do deserve to live. But there also will be like things to like support the people, so that they're like able to stand on their own 2 feet, you know? Like that they teach like the man like how to fish, right? Imagine flexing luxurious air. I mean, then you have to like to go back to like the past for that. Like in the future, the air is like whatever, you know. It's like rice. Everything tastes the same. Like the premium rice and then like your local supermarket rice. There's no difference really. Maybe the environment is like different, you know, like if you go like in a factory, you know, like it's like smelting iron and everything. It's not really like, you know, the air's still like the same, but it's just like more kind of chemical stuff in the air. It's like the temperature, it's like really hot. And it takes like a lot of like fluid away from your body, you know. It's not really like the air that's dangerous, but like the temperature and like the gases mixed in it. And I did those kind of works like in the factory like quite a long time, but I was also considering my future, you know. I can't like work here forever. I work here like maybe like 3 months, 6 months. If I gonna go on for years, I gonna short my lifespan, you know, and then, you know, set for a different job. I was good at my job, but I was really considering my safety in the future, since I have other plans and like, you know, I don't really want to scar my body, you know, like that. Like smokers, you know, people who smoke, they have like pretty hard to like recover, you know. And then they're also like addicted, right? In a sense, you know, what you kind of imagine, if I kind of like suggesting, you know, like I know like a lot of people who smoke in my life, and they all know that's like bad. Like it's bad for their health, and then money-wise especially. In Germany, like the cigarette packs are super expensive now. Usually they used to cost like something like, you know, like a chewing gum, you know, like a package of like chewing gum, like like $1 or so, a few cents. But nowadays they're like $5, $10 or so. It's like enough to like buy a luxurious meal. We're gonna do it quick, I would say. Let's do it like quick and dirty. And then try to do it like a little bit cleaner afterwards. I need like this rough shape. It's like nothing too special with the character design, but she's a human, not like something like an angel thing, whatever, you know. Like pretty crowded, like Nodoka and like A-chan. But still like cute. Maybe it's because of the, you know, of the voice, the personality, the charm. I really should like consider trying Nodoka since she did Karate 8. Already through A-chan since I noticed like, oh, birthday, you know, and she has been gone for a while, so why not? But yeah. It's like a thing of like about looking at the past, but also like looking at the news generation, you know, and then like nurture those. Like give you support. Instead of like clinging to the past, you know. I do, for example, like would be interested in like No Game No Life second season. While there are like some things I do disagree, like nowadays. When I was like watching it back days, it was like really entertaining. Like surely not the deepest show, not the best show, whatever, whatsoever, but it did a lot of interesting things and it was a fun show to watch. And then it had a lot of like fan service here and there sprinkled, and then it'd be like, oh yeah. But yeah, like the young boy had like his neurons activated here and there. And there were a lot of references, like JoJo references, like video game references, kind of like that. I still have yet to watch the movie No Game No Life 0, but yeah, it had like some banger music there. That I sometimes like to sing karaoke. I know the song, but I haven't like watched the content of that yet. It's like kind of like you know. Usually when I like sing an anime song, I already know like the anime. But sometimes, when I don't, it's like, yeah, I guess I do something wrong, you know. I should like watch the source material when I can do the song more justice. It's like kind of interesting, like how everyone like sings like songs in a different way. Like everyone has a different voice, a different style, you know. And different experiences in life. Like some are able to like sing out of the heart, like pulling like a memory and then like have like putting that emotion like into the song, you know. And I for my part also like have a more or less like a style, like if it comes like to emotions, you know, like it depends on the song of course, but yeah. But maybe we'll talk at a later at some other time. We still have like October, right? It's like the yeah. Like every month is like 30 days, right? It's like the 18th October in my time zone. So we're kind of like halfway through, right? I guess like I need to think about the karaoke stream like soonish. Since I do like every month at least one time. I would like to sing like some fun songs, but also like those songs that you know, where you need to put out your emotions, you know. I do like to sing those songs too. I do enjoy those. Sometimes I have like pent up emotions, you know, I do not let out, and then I sometimes need like something like that. Sometimes the fun songs can like help me out of that, but sometimes, you know, you need like something more, you know, it's more deep. Nanikori. So there's not really a character sheet to her, but I don't really mind, you know. I can draw. I can like figure something out. Is she wearing gloves? No, she doesn't. Alright, fantastic. It's a little bit simple. I mean, like they're based on, they're like not like yokais or so. They don't have like something crazy going on there. They're just humans. And I like that too. I'm also just a dude, you know. I'm just a little guy out there. I'm just a little guy! Come on, man! I've done anything wrong! It's my birthday! Come on! You know. But yeah, technically I'm a little guy, you know, like how I look like. I should introduce myself as a, hey, I'm just a little guy, toes on you, you know. And I guess could be kind of like fun to introduce myself, but I don't know, like, I got kind of like stuck with my introduction, you know. It's just kind of like a ritual. Like, kind of like, okay, you're streaming now, Tosan, you know, it's like kind of my magic spell. To like, no, okay, it's time, you have to log in, you know. You're like, no, you have now potentially an audience out there. Not really sure if I'm gonna try the eyes like that. I could really like go for something more, you know, she has the laugh that goes like you know, and then I really could like draw it like much more cuter. But I'm gonna like see, like I'm gonna draw like the clothing. It's not much anyways, but you know, gonna like try out like things here and there. And then use like the one I like the most, I suppose. But I guess I will like draw it like with closed eyes. Like the way she laughs, kind of cute. Kind of like, it's not Nakirium really, but Michirium, you know. could be like, you know, the nude flavor is like something else. Like sometimes I do like need to like laugh here and there, you know, like I like to laugh, you know, and but you know, it's like not really like this kind of bless you, you know, something like that. There's like a difference about like laughing lightly and then having like a crack, you know, a big crack. But usually, you know, like when people like laugh, they enjoy themselves, you know, like, yeah, they live like a happy life. And especially like if you see like the wrinkles, like, you know, like in their face, you know, like from smiling, laughing too much, you know, then it shows us like that they, you know, that are like people you can like hang out with. They do understand like joy, they do understand like fun and everything, right? And then wheezing. Yeah. I don't really know like how to wheeze. I never like got into a situation where I wheezed, but I can like count on a hand, you know, like how many times my stomach hurt from like laughing. There were like not many moments where I really like had uncontrollable laughter. But yeah. On stream, probably not at all, I think. There was like nothing like that. While I do like enjoy like some moments or like just like some kind of dumb things just happening. Yeah. I do still enjoy life overall. I still do enjoy what the world has to offer. The world still will probably have like a lot of things to offer. Maybe problems, maybe disappointment, but you know, we will have new anime, we will have new manga, a lot of slop, maybe, you know, because they copy like things, you know, like isekai, and then like, you know, with like Madoka Magica, that we don't have normal shoujo, Mahou shoujo, like Magic Girl anime, for example, that like a lot of things are like similar to like Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, like some people like see that Jujutsu Kaisen just like, you know, the modern Bleach or something like that, right? So, something like that. That there's like a lot of inspiration here and there going on. But it's like all about, yeah. You know, actually I might have a thing for like enjoying people's happiness. I might have a thing for that. No, I drew on the wrong layer. Actually, let's keep it like that. Maybe I have like a really a thing about like enjoying people's happiness, you know? Just like seeing that they enjoy their life. Just seeing that they like you know, that I can like love, you know, and that is like my kind of thing I consume. Like, this is my truck now, you know. Their love, their happiness is my truck. It's my life support. And if they quit, I'm gonna be like, no, I need more, you know. Don't go, don't go. I'm like dependent on that stuff. And then yeah. And then it disappears from the market, and then you have like to go to the, you know, like to those kind of suspicious people, you know, like that are like in the back alley and be like, hey, I got the good stuff here, wanna come? And that's like how we go like into indie VTubers, you know. It's like kind of like how it works, I guess, nowadays, like it's in the meta. And yeah. And I certainly had my favorites there, so, and it kind of like went in this direction. I like kind of like a way that kind of feels dirty, but you know, you do what you have to do. You have to like support your small business, you know, like your one man kind of stall guy, you know, like there's like a big ramen restaurant, but then there's a little ramen store managed by one guy, you know, something like that. And to be honest, like, I know there are like things like McDonald's, I think like Burger King and such, but there's like one kind of burger store that I really like enjoy like going to. Like the burger's a little more expensive, you know, but it's like, you know, like the stuff is like a lot more tastier than like what you get like from fast food. I mean, like fast food, right? It's like what you can expect, but and even like the cooked, you know, like handmade and everything, like burgers, like expensive, you know, and unhealthy. Man, it does fill. It does fill. I feel satisfied after eating that. Pizza kind of like fills too, or like doner kebab, you know. I had like kebab like yesterday evening. Usually I home cook a lot of food, you know, and that's like how I go, but with it. But if I'm like not at home, you know, and I was too lazy to like bring myself like, you know, some food, like some sandwiches, you know, for break or so, then yeah, time to like have some fast food, you know. And time to like use the money to like, you know, eat some good food, you know, like enjoy yourself here and there, have like some you know, go like the forbidden path, go like some little bit of like, you know, faster food, not really fast food, but you know, still like something quickly done but unhealthy. Kebab is like yeah, but it's like you know, it's like a sandwich, you know, and there's like chicken like meat in there, like the doner kebab meat, you know, and like a lot of like other additions like tomatoes, like salad, and the sauce is like really good, I must like say. Speaking of that, I do feel hungry. I do feel hungry. I think like once I'm done, I do like now let me see what I can do. I don't have anything prepared really. I do have like don't really have like leftover rice or so. have like some bread there, but you can't really do much with bread. Like maybe like toast it in the frying pan, you know. I have egg actually. Actually, like, you know, egg is like really great, especially like frying pan, and then you have some egg. Can make a lot of great things with that. Egg is like, it's like some proteins, you know. It gives you a lot of power, a lot of strength. It gives you a lot of like energy. I said like energy already, but it gives you like things that your body needs, like the nutritions, you know. There are like people out there who only like look at the nutritions and like not really there for enjoyment, but I, for my part, you know, I do like to enjoy. Enjoy. But while I enjoy life, I do think like about things in an optimistic way, right? Then I like think about, okay, 2050, what can we expect? You know? Well, I do like love, I do like enjoy like food, you know, here and there. I do like enjoy when people enjoy themselves, you know, when they're like happy. Sometimes, you know, the happiest people can have like the most interesting, darkest thoughts out there. It's like kind of like a thing with like those successful writers, I suppose. Like Vince Gilligan, who like did Breaking Bad. He's just a nice guy, and then he comes like with something, a story, that's like this, you know. Interesting, right? But those nice people, they probably like saw it all, maybe, you know? Maybe not. But you know, it comes like with a lot of like experience to be able to like write something good like that. Maybe you didn't really do something like that in your lifetime, but if you have enough like human to human interactions and like knowledge of that, how would they realistically behave, you know? Why would they do that? And yeah. For example, why would a VTuber go to a VTuber company, you know? They don't own their IP. Maybe it's like about to make friends. Maybe it's like about the dream, you know? Like things that they can't, you know, a lot of indies, they're like alone. They're like stand alone. They have to carry themselves in order to like move forward. And then there's also like real life. You can't really like live from VTubing alone. And looking like how many VTubers there are, yeah, kinda like makes sense. Not like streamers at all, right? There's a lot of competition out there. Even like if you look at the food kind of stuff. Let's talk about food again, you know, but there are many restaurants, there are many stalls. There's competition everywhere. Japanese food, Chinese food, Italian food, Greece food, you know, Spanish, Mexican. There's so much out there, you know. And maybe you can't really make your living out of that, you know, because there's so much competition. Maybe we'll have some regulars, but maybe they won't come every single time, you know. Some people have like enough from like eating McDonald's every single day. like sample, right? It can be also unhealthy and like costly since food self-made, you know, ingredients bought from a supermarket and then self-made is like less expensive and yeah. Okay, let me see. No, because she's Izuki Michiru. He's a Hololive announcer, you know. I thought like bring like a megaphone in there. That's like kind of an idea. But yeah. Does it make sense? Let's do it like this, and then I see like, oh my gosh, the imbalance is there. But yeah. I probably like will change like how like the things with the eyes, you know. This is like usually my style, but but it's not really like doing her character justice. Even though I haven't seen much of it yet, but I will like more in the future, you know. Like we will all see more in the future. I don't really know, but there's something about that with like short-haired girls like that. And then they're like cheerful. I have like a good character. Like hardworking people, you know. And then like a positive kind of mindset. And you know, this kind of pureness, this kind of like positive energy is so easily tainted nowadays. Oh gosh. I do love people who work hard. I do like people who like work their asses off. And then they still like are able to like, you know, be happy. Do want to support that. If I think about it like that. Like drawing fandom is like one way, right? But if I really think about it, man, do I like have a weakness for that, I suppose? Yeah, I guess it's like that. Make that pony a little bit longer. So I'm losing the focus, you know. It's like not really good to do like multiple things at once. I can manage to draw and like talk, but once I put one more thing at my list, it's gonna be hard. Okay, focus on the hair. There are like some details I would like to draw. Ah, cute. I will watch her future with great interest. It's like also like the thing like with newer like with the new kid in the town, you know. And then they look so promising. Or have like some kind of good character design. Sometimes I do get into anime because I see like the characters, you know, like on the cover and be like, oh, I like this one. And then I watch, and then yeah. And sometimes I like stay like not only for the girls, you know, for the girl on the cover, but like for more other stuff. Like the story, maybe the characters like really like well written, you know. There can be like many reasons. Is there like ever like a series like that where I like came for the cover but then like stayed for, you know, what really made it like good? I more or less like got with that into Gintama, you know, like seeing fan arts and be like, wow, this looks good. Or like Gekka Shoujo no Saki-kun. And then I stayed like for, you know, just the dumb things in Gintama. And then for the serious moment when it came. And then I got hooks. Or Gekka Shoujo no Saki-kun. It was just like, yeah, I can't turn my brain off, you know. It's good fast food. But actually, it's really good fast food. It's like one of those burger restaurants, like not those fast food restaurants, right? Like where they really like put the effort into like, you know, creating like a satisfying meal. It's like filling, you know. Maybe it's not really filling, maybe, you know. It's like appetizer, you know, and then, oh, I want season 2, you know. That's like how they all get here. And then they produce like merchandise, you know, they slap like anime girl on it and then can sell. That's like how it works. In that sense, I can't market myself, you know. How do you market like an anime boy? Impossible. Maybe I don't erase it. Even regarding mouth, a little bit brighter. Not brighter, a little bit more wider, a little bit more bigger. The thing is, like, when I draw the emotions, like the facial expressions, you know, when they're like smiling, I smile too. When they have like, you know, a big smile on their face, you know, I do have a big smile too, actually. You can actually imagine me like that. But a lot of artists have like this kind of thing that they reflexively do that. They like when art is like imitating a reality, or I don't know what the quote was, but it's just like mirrors the thing, like the soul of the artist, more or less. But also at the same time, kind of like want to like, you know, like you want to capture like when you draw fan art, you know, like energy of like something of their side, like towards like into the drawing, that you can like capture it, you know, somewhat. And a lot of people have like different interpretations. It can be like funny to like see like fun art, you know, like Yonkoma, like something stupid, you know, like a memeable scene. But sometimes people like draw like the most breathtaking illustrations, like some painting, you know. They bring something like out there in regards like to that one character. And it's like kind of like, yeah, kind of like shows how unique an artist, you know, is, how unique art can be. That's like nothing like a that a machine can reproduce, you know. like humans can maybe like try to you know, like when they go to lesson, you know, they can all like draw the same circle, you know. And this is like the basic kind of ingredient, you know, to like many drawings. But not everyone's like cooking the same way, like with the ingredient, you know. Like real chefs, they don't like, you know. Real chefs, they go like for something unique. Real chefs, they do have like differences here and there. In a sense, you can like see many fantasy stories. Like some kind of fast food, you know. They do all the same product, kind of. It's all like slop. Or just like, okay, the cover, the beginning, you know. Just the first few pages, the hook, it's good. But once you go in deeper in, it's just like, it doesn't, it's like less, it doesn't taste so good anymore. You know, the first bite is good, but then the balance, you know, like maybe it's like way too much fat, you know, way too much flavor, right? You kind of like feel full after the first few bites and then, okay, it's enough. At least that's for me the case. Some people have like a bigger stomach, you know, to like endure like more, like eat more of the food, but for my case, I do get exhausted after like consuming too much of like that, you know. Things need a balance. Things need like pacing. You know what? I'm gonna draw that a big circle. Draw the head like a bit bigger. Just make a circle. Maybe I can do the thumb. Nah, don't do the thumb. It looks better like as a circle. Sometimes I want to overdraw like things, you know, draw more things, but it's like figure fine. Just like a kind of white circle. And then I kind of have to make it recognizable as a megaphone, but I don't really know how to make that convincing. But yeah. Yeah, I like this expression a little more, but I think if I were to, you know, capture illustration, then I'm gonna, you know, only like capture this much. Like I did a little more of drawing, but it's not the most interesting stuff. It's like when you go in closer, just like the face, the expression, like the cheerfulness. Yeah, I'm gonna just like go with that much instead of like the full kind of thing I've like drawn. But yeah, I'm in that sense I'm gonna cut that thing here off. Let's save first. I have to save the image. 0 62 copy. And then I will erase stuff I don't need to draw. It's like about the balance of the whole image, you know. I don't need that much, sadly. Tomorrow's also a day. I think I shall upload this when I'm done. I don't forget about it, of course. Most of the times I do not like upload some of the stuff I've drawn, but I forget about it. Like the thing. I really should like make sure that I upload like regularly, like on a weekly basis at the very least. Still haven't like uploaded the battle arts yet, but maybe like at some point. I don't like really feel motivated with like a lot of like things, and I've like kind of half finished. Yeah, it's cute. Fantastic. Then I did like a good job there. Almost about like 1 hour, more than 1 hour in. I'm still like not at coloring phase, but I'm sure only like this part is like important, you know. And then it's like good enough. You know, even though I do like people who work hard, and then also be able to like have a lot of happiness in life, like where, you know, where they're still untainted. I do find it, you know, sometimes I do like reading stories where like people's like kindness, pure heart and everything is getting tainted, you know. And then like the kind of like shift, you know, the view of life and everything kinda can get interesting. Which can be like really relatable, you know. You like leave school and then go to work, you know. You can like earn money now. Cool, right? Like for some people it might be the case. And then you go in with optimism. You got accepted for the, you did got accepted, you know, like your, they read like your portfolio, like your application, and then you're in there for an interview, you pass the interview, and then it's like the first work day, you know, and then it's like, I wait like to earn money, right? And well, maybe like the work is a little bit hard. It's like, oh, it's like just my first day, you know. Still like coping that like things can go up, you know. When there's maybe like, you know, a Japanese kind of culture like the nomikai, you know, like where you go like drinking like with the workers afterwards, and like to socialize more, to learn more each other, like more to learn more about each other, right? Like a meet and greet, you know, sorry. Yeah, but as things goes on, you know, and you build like a connection, you have like less and less of a reason to like leave. And what if like other places don't really like take you, you know? Like once you like notice the work is like really hard and you get like treated like garbage, you know? Like when like the optimistic character who was like so cheerful and optimistic, you know, like sees more and more like how dark, you know, the world around them is, you know, like how hard like the life of adult can be. Sometimes I do like find those stories interesting, and I talk like about something more or less relatable, like when you go into a field and think like it's all like great, but then like dark shadows, you know, creep like around the corner. And most of the times like see that for example in fantasy stories or like isekai, you know. Maybe like like bully stories, you know, like go to a school. Well, you know, you don't like really start ahead, you know, you don't really like your school where you were, and then when you like, okay, I'm gonna go to a different school, you know. Hello Game World, welcome to the art stream. I'm drawing Izuki Michiru from the new stuff of Hololive. He's like the announcer for there. Welcome. Where was I? You know, like they're like isekai stories, they're like fantasy stories that I like kind of have that kind of thing with like cheerful characters, you know, optimism and everything, who like turn more, you know, they see like more the darkness of like the world around them. In most of the cases, you know, like it can be like interesting of a hook, you know, like the rising of the shield hero, right? But it's just like a hook, you know? And then they maybe deliver on that, but then that's about it, maybe. Or they do that introduction, you know, to hook you in, then it's just like, okay, let's now let's sprinkle here and there like some waifus, man, it will sell, and then yeah, I suppose. Well, anime that kind of like uses that. One of the recent anime that uses that. I kind of like saw what they did there, but at the same time, the execution was like, you know. The anime that I like kind of like thinking about is called Backstabbed in a Backwater Dungeon. My trusted companions betrayed me, but thanks to a gift of an unlimited gacha, I received a level 9999 here friend, and now I'm out for revenge, or something like that. Like anime with a very long title, and for some reason I do remember the full title somewhat. There are like more crazy art titles out there, but this is like a first that I see like this kind of like title, long title-ish, like in the anime series, you know. I'm currently watching that. Finish like episode 1, watch episode 2, and then be like, yeah. Okay, I guess like understand what they did there. It's like a revenge story, you know? It's like similar to like bully stories, you know? You know where you stand. You try to like not stand out. Not step out of line. Be like, no, Kaya, stay there, and then go like for the shock collar device. Be like, you know. You always like know your stand, you know. You can't really like fight back. But then for some reason you get like the superpower, and then yeah, everything changes. I think like where I stopped at was like, you know, sometimes you know, like those characters, they don't really get a good starter hand, right? Like they don't like the school where they're like at, and they swap the school, like they go to other school, and then they start like from zero, right? They have to like to build up friends again. They have to like to build a place in like the hierarchy, or like in the social construct, like that is like the new class they're like in, the new school. And maybe even there are still the same issues, like, or like similar issues to like in your old school, right? In your old starter hand. Like, there are a lot of isekai fantasy stories that like kind of like borrow tropes and such, but they don't really like utilize them or understand like what makes like so special. Maybe like lacking life experience could also be a big thing. And like stories that are like based, that are like more or less revenge stories, they can be pretty A. They can be pretty A. Characters don't go as far. Do they give them a slap on the wrist, you know, like to their bullies? Or they do really like see them like suffer, you know? Like when it's a revenge story, then people like want to see blood, be like, come on, you know? Wanna see some blood. They started it. You started your mission, now finish it. And it can like kind of like flop, you know? It can be pretty predictable. It's like the one goal. But at least there's a goal, you know? But sometimes this goal is like getting like taken away right in front of you. And it can be like interesting to like write those kind of things, while also developing the character you want to take revenge on, you know? Maybe there's like more to it, you know? It can be like a job, nothing personal kid, you know? And then you learn like more about the side of like, you know, the guy you want to take revenge on, you know? Maybe like, it can be like this kind of thing, oh, they murdered my family, you know? Now I'm gonna take revenge. Like things like Naruto, you know, like with Sasuke and like his big brother, for example. It's like interesting, like a lot of people like Sasuke's like big brother, big bro. The series is like pretty old, actually. Like the statute of limitations like expired, I suppose. I could like talk about it, but at the same time, you know, maybe not, you know. If you feel like about it, then why not? But you know, can like think about it and then maybe not talk about it, you know. That's not everything like black and white, you know, that's like a reason. But like a lot of like you know, stories where you take revenge. Let's say like bully stories, or like a lot of like fantasy isekais nowadays, like fantasy stories. they really don't have like a good villain, you know? They don't really have a good bully. They don't really have a human. They're just like some kind of like a blanket, you know? It's like just kind of blank piece of paper, kind of. That's like with some, yeah. Rogo, have you ever listened to Roga first? Where was I? I shouldn't like read everything in chat, to be honest. It's kind of autopilot. Where was I? And sometimes I do like I want to see like a little more depth in like those characters, you know, like who are supposed to be like the evil guy. But then maybe they're not evil, you know? Maybe that's the reasons, they're just humans, you know? They're like, that not everything is like how it seems. I do like, for example, like Takobi's original sin for that. That there's not really like a big mastermind, evil mastermind behind the scenes. Or anything like that. That's just like all like are humans at the end of the day. That hurt people like hurt people, that hurt people. And yeah. It has like a message. Yeah, but yeah, I was about to mention it, but I forgot the name. Well, it can be like a stronghold with like some bully stories, you know? You have to like make it right. Some people just use the hook and then that's about it, you know? And then they throw like a lot of anime waifus in there and then they expect like that people like will stick around for more of the story. But that's not really how I think it like should go, like how a good story should be going. But you know, when you know like how to do things wrong, then you can prevent how to things wrong, how to do like the wrong things, you know. If I like draw in a wrong way, you know, and then I try next time to not draw like badly, you know, with a lot of mistakes, then yeah, technically know like how to do it right. But some people do like things, you know, they don't like cook really, they like go for like the fast food like thing, you know, like that a lot of people like produce like the same kind of stuff. And then yeah, it has like maybe one good like main ingredient, but then maybe like didn't really like process, like really like cooked it like properly, you know, like undercooked. It's still raw. Where's the lime sauce? You know, there are like a lot of people who like trash talk like those animes, right? We have like more or less, nah, but we don't really have a direct face there, you know? Like sometimes we have the anime community be like, yeah, this is mid, you know? They do like a tier list or whatever. But sometimes I do we have like a Gordon Ramsay for anime? You know? Do we have like someone who's like kind of roasting that? I think there are like many people, but you know, not like big name like Gordon Ramsay, right? Who's like kind of trash talking people, it's like cooking. Even like, you know, I help you to make it right, you know. Something like that. There's like a full television series for that. I used to watch like some of those like television. I kind of like those, even though I guess they were like scripted, you know. Some are like based on reality, you know. Then Bill. I kind of like those kind of programs. It's not only trash talking people, but also like help them to make it right. That you can kind of back it up, you know, like a trash talking. But yeah, I'm still gonna like watch Backstab in a backwater dungeon. My trusted companion betrayed me, but thanks to unlimited gift from an unlimited gacha, I got level 999 a friend, and I'm out for revenge. I'm still gonna watch that one, and yeah, gonna see where they take it off from here, you know. Just like something to turn my brain off and like watch. And then afterwards I like think and be like, yeah, this was kinda mid, you know. I kinda like the hook from Rising of the Shield Hero, you know. But yeah, it also is like kind of like running out of steam. I have still a friend that's like watching Rising of the Shield Hero, but I think the Rising I kind of stopped, you know. It stopped rising. Kind of a cool title though. Like regarding revenge stories, for example, there's so many ways to make it like not go good, you know. It's like many ways to like ruin it. But once like it is a success actually, it can be like really interesting to look at the characters for that and their motivations. I think like Vinland Saga is pretty good there. When I first watched it, I didn't really have much expectations, you know. I was like, oh no, another revenge story is gonna be bad again, you know. I had this kind of like pessimistic kind of opinion, like kind of mindset there. I went like with low expectations, saw like this kind of job and be like, so I watched like so many kind of bully, revenge stuff kind of thing, who actually don't really pull it off that well, you know, or, you know, and it's just disappointing when kind of got surprised by Vinland Saga at this point, you know. Like what they did for season 1. Maybe like, damn man. And then season 2 comes out and be like, okay, now, you know, I kind of like wanna was like interested and like, okay, where do they take it from there, you know? Like if you actually like know how Vinland Saga goes, like if you actually watch it or like read it, you know. I like the artist, by the way, the mangaka of like Vinland Saga. He also, I read like his work like Cream Blood, for example, like Wild West, and man, the drawings are like amazing. But yeah, the way like they pulled it off, you know, with the revenge story, and then like, you know, if you like spend a lot of your life like hating someone, you know, trying to like take out a life, and like putting things like your own happiness like in the back burner, you know. Like you could like watch anime, you could like enjoy games, you know, you could make friendships, you can like touch some grass, you know, something like that, like do something productive with your life instead of like, you know, hating on someone, you know, like some haters on the internet, right? You waste your whole life like that. What's the point of it, you know? And it's kind of interesting. But also there are like those who are like unable to like go back to a normal life as well. We're like way too scarred. Like Vinland Saga was like interesting in a sense, like what can happen to like people who are like out for revenge, and then something happens, and then yeah. But there's also like interesting like revenge story there when you're like scarred for life. You know, you lose like something important. And then, you know, you have like a villain in your eyes, and then you chase like after that one, trying to kill them. But it's like not only one guy, but many guys, you know. And the most evil kind of villains ever, you know, where like even like famous villain characters can like kind of like, you know, like very, very cruel and everything. Like Vinland Saga was like one thing, where kind of like how the character development goes for the one who wants to take revenge. But in Goblin Slayer, for example, I do find it interesting when someone's like taking revenge, but you know, there's like no way for like salvation and like for happiness really. Like actually there's like really little room for that. And then it's like maybe, what can we do with someone like that, you know? Goblin Slayer. It's the first episode was kind of a filter, you know? And then afterwards, it's a pretty decent show. It's not the best show ever, but I do like it a lot, you know, for some reason. Okay, we are like almost 2 hours in, 1 hour 45 roughly. I think I'm gonna go for inspurts, I suppose. I'm gonna do it quick and dirty, I suppose. I need like some whitish color. Like in Goblin Slayer, you know? There's this one main character who's like, you know, it's just like a fantasy world. They're like adventurers and everything. And there are like many kind of different like main characters, you know? Those who like heroes, you know? Those who like adventurers out there to save the world, you know? But the main character in Goblin Slayer, he's not there to save the world. He's not there to slay dragons or like defeat a demon lord or so. He's just slaying goblins. And that's like pretty much a show. But what is his reason to like kill goblins? Like slaying goblins? Why would he do something like that? And no, it's not a video game. It's not like, you know, isekai in our world and then I decide to slay only goblins and then it turn into level 9999 or whatever. There's like a reason like why. There can be like a deeper reason like why someone would do that, you know? And since I was like talking about the revenge part, you know, Goblin Slayer is for me like one of the most interesting like revenge focused like stories. Or like how empty revenge can make of you, like of a human. And in a sense, like Villain Saga kind of reminded me like that as well. Like the character writing is like really good, really like realistic. But also at the same time, when you're like able to see like the point of view from the side of the goblins, it can be like, man, they're disgusting. Like if you read like the light novel, you can like see actually their thought process and everything, and it can be like kind of can be really like unpleasant, you know, like what they do to like humans. Goblins are usually like the weakest kind of monster kind of thing, like in video games, you know, or something like that. But, you know, they're still like strength in numbers. And while they're like weak, while they're like dumb, you know, they're like children, you know. And children can still be dangerous, you know. Like if you give them like, if you give them a little kid like a knife, you know, it can be dangerous. Not only for the kid, but also for you. And while kids are like not really that smart, they are not idiots, you know. They still can like think, there's like some intelligence on their own. Like crows, for example, they are like, have the intelligence of a 9-year-old kid, right? But even like a 9-year-old is like dumber than a human being. They're still dangerous, right? Don't mess with like crows when you like meet them. And like the same thing is like with like goblins, like don't look down on them, you know, or else it can like bite you in the ass. Don't underestimate your opponents, something like that. And it's like kind of interesting, like with the, you know, with the goblins, like the design in Goblin Slayer. Like a lot of other series still make them like the weakest monster class, you know, when it's like your level 1 kind of opponent, when like you call it a day. But while like things like a demon lord is out there, dragons and the end of the world, someone still has like to do like the job of like slaying goblins. And Goblin Slayer has like a specific reason, you know, that it's like revenge as well, and it goes like a little bit back to this backstory, and it's kind of like the anime like really explained in a really good way. And I did like read the source material, I read like the manga adaptation, you know, but when I saw the anime adaptation, they really did it justice, I suppose. Even though the drawing quality is like worse compared to like the manga, you know, manga adaptation is like if like manga adaptation like it's like better than like Sakuga, like in action, you know. But if it comes like to emotional weights, it's like on par like with the light novel, maybe even better, I suppose. Like because there's music, there's voice acting, there's like this kind of direction, you know, visual direction. Yeah, it's like not bad. On my rewatch, I kind of like had tears in my eyes, you know, like I really was like feeling this dude. When I was like reading the manga, then the light novel, and then the anime, I was like not feeling that much like when I was like younger and such. But now that I look at nowadays, I have like a little bit more empathy. I still have like not a lot of empathy, but I still have more empathy than back then. I actually like, I did like you know, had like tears in my eyes, a little bit of pee here and there, you know, that I had to wipe off. And it gets like kind of like sad like to know that this is his reason to like slay goblins and only goblins, and that he like keeps doing it and doing it until, you know, since there's like not really like a way or like to solve things. Like if it's like a human being, you know, if the bully was like a human being, you know, you can talk it out, you can like you know, talk out with each other, do like some negotiations, maybe like they will be your friend, you know, like if the boss and like if it's like Sans as the boss, and then Sans when he's your companion or something like that, right? That that as a boss is like the super strongest guy, whatever, but once they're like with you in the same team, like League of Legends for example, they're like whatever, right? Like with the bullies for example, like when they're like badly written, they're like kind of like a dog, you know, that they're are not that threatening, and you can like train them, give them commands, something like that. Currently, like this series, Goblin Slayer, on a hiatus, like the light novel. Didn't continue a long while. So I probably will not really see the end of it, you know. But to be honest, I kinda be like satisfied with like an open ending, you know, like that I can like still imagine he's like out there like continuing his sad fate, you know, and like keep doing that. And he's like very traumatized by like this experience as well. Like he lost a lot of emotions. And the way he talks, the way he speaks, the way he behaves. It's all like reflected, you know, like his trauma is like all reflected in his actions, and it's like a really well-built character, I must like say. Sometimes I was like curious about a Goblin Slayer game, but most of the times I like see like collaborations, you know, like in gacha games or so. Like in Brown Dust 2 for example, I started playing it because of like Mushoku Tensei collab, you know, but then, oh, Goblin Slayer collab, and then let's go, you know. A lot of people thought like it's the worst collab, you know, usually since like Brown Dust 2 is like kind of Guna bait, you know. They have like a lot of hacks there and fan service with that, but Goblin Slayer didn't brought that much hack fan service really, or not at all. Yeah, not that much, let's say not that much really. But yeah, I still liked it, you know. The event story, like the writers for that, it was like pretty like much, it did it like justice more or less, like with the characters, like how they behaved there. And I guess I do want to explore like more of those games where it had like Goblin Slayer collab. I don't know, but I do be a little fanboy like for this series, I suppose. It's not the best ever, you know. It's like nowhere on my top 10, but I do like this show. My first figurine was, by the way, a Goblin Slayer figure, you know, was from this franchise. This has a special place in my heart somewhere. And like, you know, one of the best ways to like write a story about revenge, and then like what it makes out of like, you know, the victim, like, you know, when the victim's like, you know, when he's like stops, when he's like starting to decide, okay, I will not be a victim anymore, you know, I'm gonna do the same, you know, and then it's like the cycle of violence continues, something like that, right? But, and in the way of like the way the cycle of violence continues, you know, Goblin Slayer somewhat as well is like a goblin as well. He becomes like more or less like what his not victims, but what his like punishers, I don't know, really tormentors, yeah, tormentors, that he becomes like more and more like his tormentors, yeah, something like that, yeah. And it's really interesting, like the more and more I like think about like Goblin Slayer, like the kind of the kind of like, you know, how the characters like intertwined. You know, like when you make a map and then like what is the relation like with, between all those characters with each other, you know? It's similar, you know, like the simplest thing like to figure out was love triangle, right? But then there's like more and more characters around them, then you have like to build like connections, you know, like what's the relation to each other, like, you know, how would they each act to each other, like what's the, are like enemies, are they friends, you know? It's like kind of like that. But okay, it's kind of interesting why I talk like about this, while drawing like a pretty cute and cheerful girl. I think like she works hard. Like a lot of people in Holo cover corp, they draw like their asses off. But if they still can find like some kind of putting here there, a little bit of slice of happiness in their life, then yeah. And if we're like able to support them, all the better, I suppose. But yeah, it's still a corporation, so it's like one of the better ones. Well, it is the best one, you know. Currently, they don't do anything wrong. But it's also like Japanese world culture, so you know, gotta like respect what they do there. And I'm kind of like glad that I like that my work cycle is not that bad, really. Even though I hate overwork, I do hate overtime, you know. I said like overwork, but what I want to say like overtime, like that you lose more hours of your free time when you have to work. It's still like nice to like get more money, but for me, time is more valuable than like money. Time you can't really get back. Money you can, you know. Money is you can earn back. And yeah, your time is limited in life, you know. If I think about it like Goblin Slayer, how will he find his end? Will he keep like slaying goblins, you know? If he keeps like his life on like with slaying goblins his entire life. There are like many ways on how his life could end. Maybe he will like die at some point during his like goblin hunts, you know? Maybe he will become too old or dead, but still like wants to do it, you know? Still too angry to die, you know, like the old man like in the wheelchair, like with a shotgun, whatever, you know? But there could be like many terrifying endings for him. Maybe like his the people he could like call friends will get involved with goblins, and then this like kind of strengthens the fire of hatred in him, you know? Something like that. It's kind of interesting with a character, you know, who's like scarred and traumatized by like his tormentors. Or like, you know, when a little schoolboy gets like traumatized by the bullies, you know. And then like making like realistic, more or less like, you know, reactions, writing decisions, you know, and how it like shapes them. Yeah. That's like more and more about the humans itself instead of the waifus. This is like maybe what I think. I mean, this was like pretty clear like with Backstep in the Backwater Dungeon. My trusted companions would trade me, but thanks to the gift of a level of a unlimited gacha, I got a level 999 friend and now out for revenge. For this one, it really became more about putting like fluff waifus here and there, rather than like getting deeper into the character. Getting deeper into like the revenge story. Also, I still have like no expectations for that really. It is just like fast food in my eyes now. But I will continue watching it, you know. And no, I don't think I will get surprised at any point. I have no hopes for it really, but you know, I started it, I'm gonna like see it through the end and then be like, yeah, it was pretty ass. But yeah, so I experienced like a little bit of trash in there in my life. Like, it's like kind of like a usual thing in life to do. To waste your life sometimes here and there with like stuff you're not supposed to like, you know. Like there are many roadblocks in life. And I guess like, yeah, this will be like one of those, but at the same time, I could like make people suffer watching that, you know? Like, I'm gonna be like, oh, I watched this anime called Backstab in a Backwater Dungeon. My trusted companion betrayed me, but thanks to the gift of unlimited gacha, I receive another friend, no heart for revenge, you know? When I tell them about this anime, when they hear this ridiculous title, maybe they're curious, and when they get like, you know, they feel like the same pain as me, you know? I want them to go through the same pain as me. But yeah. There are not many like I did watch good animes, you know, good anime series, but there are also like some I don't really enjoy that much or like see a lot of flaws in, but you know, if I can like you know, let you go through the same experience as I did, you know, then maybe I have like something to talk about, you know. Okay, not gonna do much more. I'm gonna leave it at that more or less. But what I will do, some finishing touches will be like a little bit of line strength, line weight, and then like a little bit of yeah, effect, and then that's it. I call it effect, but just like something simple. What color do I go? Orange? Oragene? Oragene. When we close like in, and then something like this. The announcer. Let's see. Looks good to me. Fantastic. I mean, it's solid. It's nothing like breathtaking, you know. I never had like the intention of making things breathtaking. But if it's like somewhat cute, it's like solid enough, then yeah, I did a good enough job. I know where I stand. But man, I really do more of like some moeiness in my life, I suppose. I mean, like VTubers are like fine and good, you know, but when I like watch animes, you know, this kind of contrast between like badass knight in grimy armor and when there's a cute girl. It's very moe. Like the contrast between like those kind of two things. This may be why I like In the Lilies a lot too, like the video game. And man, this game is like a lot about that speaks of actions and like rather than like words. But okay. Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing too interesting. I don't really have many people in life I can talk about like about the series Goblin Slayer, but I don't have anything against it if I like ramble about it alone, you know. Just like sharing what I like enjoy. Even though it's like, while the show itself is like nothing like with a lot of happiness or so. But there's still like hope, you know, a little bit of like things, you know, those people who are like traumatized and like and like scarred in life, there's still like you know, hope for them more or less. I watch it, then we can rant. You don't have to. I mean, maybe you get like shocked by the first episode, then oh no, you're not gonna watch that. Tosan, you have like weird taste, F you know, I never come back. Can be like that, like like anime tourists. I don't know, but you know, maybe we'll see like why people like kind of had an opinion after the first episode. But you have to like, you know, there's like the 3 episode rule, more or less, right? Hello, Adalta Panday Pen. What? It's like panda and then a Panday. Interesting. Hello, welcome to the stream. I was trying Izuki Michiru from the new stuff from Hololive. She's the announcer. I decided to do fan art of her. And I think I'm done for today. I'm already done. So I can't really like answer your question, not really like solve your question, really, but you came more or less a good time, you know. A lot of people, me included, when I see things like speed drawing, paint, you know, speed painting, or like art streams, I like to skip to the end and just like want to see like the full image, you know, like the done picture. And I guess you came like to the best part, you know. You don't have to like to sit by 2 hours, you just like came at the end. Fantastic. But yeah, in any case, that's all for today. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for listening. I'm gonna be back with 6 song the next day, but if you're not there, then next week I will have like art stream again. Or like every single week, at least like 1 time. And with that also like holo memes. Wish you a nice rest of the day, evening, good night, whatever times of the world you all are. And with that, I'm gonna say bye bye.